Hello there, Captains, and welcome to another exciting episode of Game Fact Files. In today's video, I'll be revealing my latest purple Luffy deck that I've been experimenting with, and we'll explore the strategic choices behind each card. Before we dive into the main content, I'd appreciate it if you could take a moment to give this video a thumbs up and subscribe if you haven't already. Our crew has now surpassed 1,500 members, and exciting announcements are on the horizon. Now let's set sail into the world of One Piece TCG. Starting the list with Magellan, for the usual power play along with Polly against yellow decks if you are playing second. I'm going to use 4 copies of Magellan and 3 copies of Polly in the deck. The next cards I'm going to use are the staple purple blockers, 4 copies of Queen and 4 copies of Kid. Our next card is 9 Don Kaido. I'm only going to use 3 copies of him and leave the last spot for a 10 Don Luffy, since I like to take the extra turn versus Enel before a Yamato play when he reaches 0 lives. The next card I'm going to use is probably the most underestimated card in the game for this meta. I'm going to use 4 copies of 6 Don Luffy from OP03. Luffy costs 6 Don, and he is the only card that can be played not only before, but even after Kaido, and he puts insane pressure on the board since he is a rush with 7,000 power. While his cost requirement seems too much, it actually isn't since half of the deck is 5 Don cost characters. And even if you spend a 2k counter on him, the card is so oppressive on board that the opponent can't leave him alive. The next cards I'm going to use are 4 copies of Ulti and 4 copies of Page 1 for the turn 2 combo play if you are playing first. With this setup, instead of using Double Finger or Khalifa, we will use Fran and X-Drake in their place for their counter, since they both are 5 Don cost characters and we can easily discard them on a Luffy play. The next cards I'm going to use are 2 copies of Urashima. I love playing this beast after Magellan versus yellow decks, and since he also has a counter, I don't mind having him in deck. Our next card for the list are 2 copies of the 5 Don Douglas Bullet. Douglas rests a 4 Don character when played, and you can trade 4 Don blockers like Borsalino or Sanji. He also has 1,000 counter, and since he is 5 Don cost as well, he is a perfect fit for our list. The next cards I'm going to use are 2 copies of Jet Gatling and 1 copy of Blast Breath for defense. In this list, since it's oriented for Sakazuki, I'm going to use 2 copies of Top Knot instead of Sheep's Horn. Sheephorn works better versus Mirror Match since it works for all blockers. But since we hate Borsalino, I'm going to use Top Knot to send him at the bottom when needed. The last cards I'm going to use in the deck are 1 copy of Sphinx and 1 copy of Trafalgar Law, to increase our chances to get something to play on second turn, if we start first. And now that we have the full deck list, let's jump into Sim to see the power of Luffy. You generally want to block every damage you can when playing purple Luffy, since you're going to spend 2 lives for extra Don in most of the games. I'm going to attack with Leader first and then play Magellan. Here's our Polly victim. Let's kill Kuzan on our turn and start pushing the board. I'm going to play Luffy here, and send Borsalino at the bottom with Top Knot. I'm going to discard the bricked Magellans. No point holding any of them now. Let's attack for 7,000 with every character. He only has 3 cards on hand, so I'll keep pushing. Let's play first on this one. Let's attack with our leader first and then play a page 1. I've said it again in a previous video. Most of Sakazuki lists have over 20 non-counter cards. Some lists even play 25. It's difficult for him to block all those 7,000 attacks. And since his deck is playing reactive, meaning that he is killing your plays. That's why I loved Luffy in the deck, because he does the impact the same second he is in the game. I will save page 1 here. I need something alive on the board to keep my opponent busy. That's a nice top deck. Let's see if he is going to save Tashigi from our leader's attack first. I will then play Magellan and ramp with leader to get the extra Dawn back and play Luffy at the same turn. Unfortunately, I can't counter this one. I will attack with my leader first. If he's going to save Cracker, we will go for a poly play. If not, we'll go with Magellan. I'm going to skip the attack of page 1 here. Cracker dealt double damage and I can't afford losing more lives here with this hand. I am low on counter cards. Our best play here is Polly, but let's attack first with our characters to see if he gets more triggers. He is going at 9 Dawn next turn, so our best play here is Magellan to cut his Yamato play. I ain't going to attack on this turn. He is attacking with Sanji, so he is going to play a Katakuri to put him on his life. He countered everything. No point to push with Kid on this turn. I will go for lethal next turn with 10 Don Luffy. Let's play Queen here and pass turn. I will lose the life here since I'll go for lethal on our turn. He got a life with a Maru. However, he kept 2 Dawn open and I was expecting an Elthor. Maybe he left them for a bluff, but we are going all in anyway. That's all for today, Captains. Let me know your thoughts about the 6 Dawn Purple Rush Luffy in comments, and I will see you in the next episode in a few days.